All right, here we are, another episode of Phoenix Rising Live, and this one is all about the love because that's really what drives us, that's what creates us. We were created in the image of love, source power, that is. Of course, in most circumstances, there was some form of love between our parents, whether it was temporarily experienced or permanent. But everything in the world is a reflection of love in some way, shape, or form, and it can certainly be utilized that way. However, it's the distorted perceptions that allow people to see it otherwise. And so, if you allow everything to be used for the purpose of love, love meaning connection, love meaning compassion, love meaning growth and spiritual evolution, love doesn't mean being a people pleaser, doesn't mean being nice all the time. Sometimes it's appropriate to behave one way with a particular individual, depending on where they are. If you think about a 2-year-old and a 2-year-old's made a mistake and they don't know any better, then where are you coming from? A place of compassion, acceptance, softness, gentleness. You're dealing with a CEO who makes $10 million a year and is a bit of a chip on his shoulder or thinks that he's the boss or likes to command people around, and you're coaching him. You're obviously going to approach that dramatically different, but it's still coming from that place of love, still coming from that place of compassion, but it's being expressed entirely different because the person that you're communicating with needs to be in a place where they can understand, where they can accept what you're giving them. You have to empower them to open up, to be receptive. Now, that's ultimately their choice, of course, but you can also create the conditions to make it easy for them, to make it natural for them. And ultimately, it's all your creation, it's all your manifestation. So if you're not creating people around you that are receptive to receive your gifts, why is that? And look at that. And is that what you prefer? Or would you prefer to have people in your life that are more receptive? And that doesn't mean about changing the people necessarily, it can. But really, what it means is about changing your approach, changing how you communicate. Maybe when you have two people together and you're having a conversation with both of them, three of you, maybe there's an energy there that isn't conducive to the level of progress that needs to be made. So maybe you need to have that conversation one-on-one with one of those individuals or those individuals separately, and then you can work with them. I'm talking more in a coaching standpoint here, of course, the idea of growth and spiritual evolution. That's what my life is consumed by my choice, because it's what I love. It's what I have grown to love. So what do you love? Because life is all about the love. It's all about allowing your passions to be ignited, allowing yourself to have full creative self-expression in the way that you enjoy the most, in the way that brings you the most enthusiasm. And if you're not having that experience every moment, then why not? What are you doing to hold yourself back? And are you blaming others because you don't have that ability? Are you being a victim some of the time in your life? Maybe not all the time. Maybe only 10% of the time. Maybe only 5% of the time. Maybe only 1% of the time. 1% is still too much. And that's not an opportunity to beat yourself up, because then you're just making yourself more of a victim when you notice, hey, I'm being a victim here. Why is that? What do I believe must be true about myself in order to be playing the role of a victim right now versus the role of the creator, the role of the manifester, the role of consciousness, the role of oneness? Step into that. Allow that power to be your guidance system. And it's okay, because sometimes you go into these different energetic fields that may not be your preference, but it allows you to align with someone who you're about to assist. As a coach, that sometimes happens. I was just on a call activating some gamma brainwave states with someone new in my life, a really magnificent human being. And we were working on weight, his weight, not mine, and the idea of having a balanced weight. And I noticed before that I overate and felt really uncomfortable and was pretty unconscious about having overeaten. And it made doing the gamma breathing process, quite a unique thing. But, thank goodness that source power comes in and pretty well manages the whole thing for me. But why is that? It's not to say that's directly corresponding to what this individual may have been experiencing, although it may have been, but it certainly put me in the shoes temporarily to gain that experience. It's not comfortable. The idea of consuming more than I need at any one time. How many of you are doing that? Whether it's food, whether it's emotions, whether it's television, whether it's personal development, right? Everything can be used for either a positive or negative purpose. So sometimes people are, all in the personal development, they're really using it for the ostrich effect because there's other things they don't want to look at. So they're learning. Instead of learning from their life, the people, the experiences, the environment, they're tuning into something else. And of course, there's a time and place to learn that stuff too, but it can become a coping mechanism. It can become a way to avoid what really needs to be dealt with. So everything in life is, when we allow it to be about love, then it's serving a positive purpose. And that requires a high degree of self-honesty, a high degree of integrity, a high degree of gratitude, a high degree of humility. And when you follow this idea, this formula, what is love? What is your own definition of love? Is it integral? Is it integrated? Does it have everything it needs within it? Is it complete? Think about that. Love for humanity, love for fellow humans, love for animals, love for yourself, love for your partner. Right? Romantic chemistry for your partner and love, those are two different things. They may come together simultaneously. No pun intended. But they also may be seen as separate. That happens in a lot of relationships. I only give you love if you do this for me. So that's not real love, right? That's compromising. So this idea of that it's all about the love means there is no compromise. It's totally unconditional. And it's totally you. It's totally natural. When you allow yourself to have this level of creative expression, life is a joy. Life is bliss. Life is natural and organic. In beautiful rainbows and sunshine, at least you're always feeling that way inside, despite the external weather. And simultaneously, you begin aligning with environments that reflect that more and more. And it may be a green screen background to start with, but you know that the physical environment isn't far away because you realize that the circumstances in your life are not what are the most important thing. They're simply a reflection of your own inner state. And you can use every external circumstance as an opportunity to align with your truth. Use it for a positive purpose. Allow it to bring balance to your state of being, and your state of being will automatically begin to materialize different external environments. That's simply how it works. This isn't a technique. This isn't some magical formula that only a few people know. We're all doing it. It's just, are we allowing it to be utilized in the most efficient way? Are we allowing ourselves to be fully conscious of what our purpose is here as a human being? So simply allow, allow, allow. And enjoy every experience. Even if it feels like you're in a victim mode, appreciate that the only way for that to be possible is if you're not a victim. The only way that you can actually feel like you're out of control is because you have total control. And as soon as you have that recognition, the only reason why I might feel like a victim right now is because I'm in control of this whole thing. You can't give your power away, not truly. You can create that effect as though it's happening. But the whole thing's happening inside of your consciousness. So where would you give your power to? Where are you deciding to place your power? No one can take it from you. That's impossible. Despite how that may seem for people, I'm not speaking to those that don't understand